In Creo Parametric, one of the features I usually use a lot in Sheetmetal is bed. Bed is a very important feature to use. I have this planar Sheetmetal. As it's a sketch, if you make a simple sketch here, just use the sketch here, 50 by 30. We can have multiple beds in this. I can have a bed onto this planner, maybe onto bed a certain section here by 30. I don't need to use, I can use a flash, but for now I don't need a flash. Maybe I want something like this, maybe. But you see now, once I put a flash, I'm putting an extra material. But maybe I want to maintain this planner wall and ensure that I have a bed. And maybe from this edge to the bed, I need maybe it to be 30. Because now I've seen that it is 50. Check the dimension here. This is 50. I want to have a bed from this edge to here to be 30. Therefore, if you select bed here, these are the options under the bed. I'm going to cover all of them, uh, hopefully using two tutorials. In my first tutorial, I'm going to cover the bed and angle option. Also, I'm going to cover also the roll option. As you can see, once you select the bend, you have type or placement, deadline, transition, relief, bed allowance. This one is specifically for the manufacturer. He or she knows the value to use for the bed allowance. Properties where you give the name of what we're creating. In this case, it's a bed for my bed, whatever the name you want to use. If you go back to the placement, there are two ways you can define the placement. I want to define two ways. Once you have to select bed surface or bed line. For now, let's use a bed surface, the surface that you want to bed. In this case, I want to bed this surface. You select this surface. Once you select the surface you want to bed, the placement becomes, initially it was, you can see, it was red. You have to define it. Once you define, the red disappears. And you can see um, these are two position, the name of this. Mm, these are called they are called reference draggers. They basically you can use the name reference draggers, whereby you have to drag them like that, and maybe you can just check the actual name of this. For me, I usually call them references. I have these two references whereby you drag them, but for now you can either define using these references or you can have your own sketch. Let me first of all illustrate using these two references. You can now select this reference and attach to the line. Therefore, the bed will start from this line all the way to this line. This is the bed line. You can see it is highlighted on the dotted, meaning the bed will follow this path. Will start from this edge to this edge. But now this edge can vary. You can vary the position on the edge, and therefore this one here will now assist you to know the actual distance of this point. See this point here? It it lies on a certain distance on this line. And for you to know that actual distance, use this reference dragger. I want to measure the distance of this point from this edge. You can see now, and maybe I want it to be. You can use this edge, or you can go to this one here. And I said I want from this edge to this point to be 30. You can say 30. Same case applies like that. This edge, and give it a name, a value of 30. Once you've redefined those different draggers, the path starts to bed. The arrow indicates the side which does not bend. In this case, this side is, if you want this side to be fixed, just click the arrow. Now this side becomes fixed. Okay? But now you see this arrow now defines the direction. You can see that is pointing downwards. If you select it, it will point upwards. If you say okay, you can see now this side is fixed. This side is, let's measure this. You can see this is 30, the value we defined using our reference draggers. And we go back here. This side now is the fixed side. You can use this one to preview and continue. If I go front view like that, um, okay, let me go front, fine. Okay, if you see now this side here, you see now this bed radius here. Let me just change this direction so that it can face up. You can see now the bed radius is on inside, thickness inside, bed radius also inside here. You can see the value. For now we are measuring this side on the angle, the bed angle, but the thickness, that is this thickness here, bed radius, is on inside. Let me use a bigger value for now, like 5 for visibility. This is 5 now. If you want this 5 to be outside, you can choose here inside versus outside. Now this 5 is outside, but most of the time sheet metal they usually use inner bed radius, therefore I prefer inside. Then the angle, you can see the angle is from this side to this. You can now change like that, but most of the time for me I prefer using the fixed surface, therefore measuring the angle from this surface to the fixed. How do you do that? You just go to this one here. Instead of using external measures the back bed radius, a bed angle. You can use internal. Internal will ensure that it is measuring this angle, the angle between this face and this face. If you go back to the front view, you can see now I can go like this. Now it is measuring this one here. It is extending this line like this and measuring this angle, or basically the angle between this surface and this surface. It depends with your preferences. Others prefer this. You can see. For me, I prefer internal. It depends with your preferences most of the time. The reason why I prefer internal is in case I want to use 30 like that. If it is, let's see, it is easier for me not to measure the angle between these two. I measure this angle. You can see now, if you use the measure tool, I'm getting an angle of 30. It is easier to measure these two angles because now the other one has already disappeared. We have already made a bed. It is easier to measure this angle. You can see this 30. It is the angle I have defined here. It is this angle. But if I was to use external, let's see. If I go back to measure this and this, if I measure this, yeah, basically it works. At least I've learned that. You measure this, yeah. I thought it would give me 150 because you can see from this to this, I thought it would give me 150. Yeah, this weird. Fine, it's okay. Um, Basically, if you go back here, now I want to go now to the internal like that, 30, that's fine. Now I can go back to 90, like that. That's one way you can use, you can create a bed using harder draggers. Let's do another bed. In this case, now in this scenario, instead of using harder draggers, this is a placement. Instead of using these harder draggers, you go to the bed line. Bed line. These are called references. Basically, these are called references. Yeah, harder dragger references. Instead of using these harder dragger references, you can also sketch your deadline. Maybe you want to line to reference, maybe you have another component here, you want to reference that component, create your line here. You can go to at an angle, you can go vertical. Let's now do at an angle this time around. And then the dimension, your bed line, maybe you want this to be your reference, close dimension from this point to this point. You want to be 20 from this point to this point, going to be 10. Just note, you can achieve the same thing using the hurdle braggers. There's no difference. You can see now it's bedding downward. I wanted to go up, fix this side, this arrow. Okay. You can see now we have this here on here. The same bed relief result in a sharp corner geometry. To provide actions, we define the bed line location or the bed relief type, or change the bed relief to node relief. You can see now we are getting that error because we are getting this sharp corner here. Because once you bed at an angle, we need a bed relief at this side. Go back now here. Basically, if you go back to the bed line sketch and make this 20, since we are bedding straight, we don't have that error, has already disappeared. But because we are bedding at an angle, it's really important. Go back to the bed line sketch and make this 15. And say like that. Therefore, if you go to now relief, yeah, we need some relief there. Let's say when you say there's no relief, it will bed without a relief. Okay, and what happens when you bed a corner without relief? This section here will tend to deform, but that's fine. If you want to eliminate that sharp thing here, just select no relief here. And in case you want a rectangular relief, you can do that. You can see now what happens to the rectangular relief. When you do a rectangular relief, the flat pattern here, let's see the flat pattern. See that it looks like it has this small cutout on the bed. Let's go and see what happens when you say no relief. If you go to the flat pattern, you can see it is straight here. Basically, when you say no relief, the actual planner and the flat pattern, they look same. They are exactly the same thing. Okay. Use bed line sketch, or you can use differences. Once you use sketch, these differences are not uh, something else I want to illustrate here. Go back to 20. Then we go front view like that. Then we make this one bigger, maybe 4. You see, my bed starts exactly where I made the sketch. You can see here, if you go to the bed line here, sketch, my bed starts exactly on this line here. This is 30, this is 50, this one is 30, this is 20, because total is 50. Let's validate that first. Let me see, okay, and measure this length. You can see I'm getting 30 because my bed starts exactly on this line. What about if you don't want that to happen? You can also define where you want your bed to start. You can see now, let me zoom this one here. You can see my bed starts somewhere. I'm going to use this edge it starts on the sketch. I'm using this edge as my reference. You can now see here, starts bed line. Okay. You can also select edge at the bed line. What happens when you say edge at the bed line? From this point, from the sketch, it will go back such that this bed, you see this bed length here, this curve, the middle curve, That length is exactly the actual value from this point to this point. Calculates the length of this bed, then from this bed line goes back because it has to end. This one has to end at the bed line. It is shift back by that value, then makes a bed. Basically, what I mean, the distance from this point here to this point here is the same as this middle curve here. Okay, when you see centered on the bed line, now it is at the center. You see, this is the point here. If you see now the center, it calculates the length, but now shifts by that value, half the value, one value from this side and one value go to the bed. Therefore, if you select the centered here, you can see it is at the center here, centered. Okay, therefore the center, the length, the center length, the total length of this bed radius or this bed, half length shift back, half length on this side. Therefore, for the precision, I prefer using start at the line because I can easily control. Because now I know whenever it starts at the line, this value I can control it, but these values you cannot control them because they it incorporates it incorporates the bed allowance. For now, if I say okay, you can see this one is 4. If I say okay, if you now try to measure this value, this length, see what you get. You get decimals here. You can't be able to control this. Therefore, you can't be able to control this length. Maybe if you want this length to be exactly 26 point, maybe 5. If you select that option, you cannot be able to control that. Keep that in mind. Um, Something else now. I want to suppress this bed. Yes, suppress it. I want to go back here. I want to suppress okay, yeah, I want to suppress this bed. Let me just go back here. My bed. Yeah. Let me go back here to my bed 5. Okay, let's continue here. I want to explain something else. Therefore, quickly let me create a bed. Now you know how to do that. Something else, let me highlight this before I forget. Something else you can do, you can have a sketch on an already pre-existing sketch here, line, maybe a bed from this point here to this point here. You can see it is a planar wall with an already pre-existing bed. If you now select your bed here, surface or bed line, you can select the sketch bed. Here, change this angle, go up, go to change thickness here, maybe to 3. You can do that. You can predefine sketch first, then select it. Then I want to sketch on this wall here, like that. I want to explain something else. Let me put a line here. Let me convert this line for construction. Center rectangle, like that. I want to extrude cut. I want to use a variable. I want to that point. Basically, let me use bed radius to place the thickness. Let's change here, do like that. Yeah, somewhere there. Okay, now I want to create a sketch here. Just a line. Remember, we said we can select line like that. I don't need to define the line. Then I want us to bed these two sections. Yeah. If you go now to bed, automatically bed surface or bed line It selects, because I had already highlighted the sketch, it selects the sketch. If you don't want it to select this automatically, first of all, ensure that you have not selected the sketch. You go back to the bed and select your sketch. You can change direction. If you say okay, if you preview, this is what you get. You can see. Let's continue. Now, instead of using algo bed, I want to use a roll. And you see how hinges are formed, the door hinges. You can see this one is a hinge. You can see this one, this hinges they usually have the shape that looks like this part here. How this one is a circular, it is usually a round, then like this, yeah. That's for you to create such a bed here. Instead of using algo, use a roll, okay? Because they are made by rolling the flat surface until it takes that shape using a die. Therefore, for you to roll, you just control the roll using radius. You can see after selecting the roll, nothing is nothing is formed, nothing is created, because for this to happen, you need a minimum bed thickness. Therefore, if you now change this value to 1, nothing happens. To 4, starts to roll. If you go 5, if you go maybe something like 5, if you go something like 2, you see, it uses that radius, because now it's going to take this one here, the top surface. What happens, takes this top surface here from bed edge, from this edge, you see, from the edge, from this sketch, it rolls, and it needs at the minimum, it creates a circular one. Basically, it takes this part like this, then starts to roll like this, and we need minimum value here, minimum bed radius, inner bed radius, for this to happen. Therefore, the reason why when we increase this one, when it's set to 6, the the inner curve is reduced because you need minimum. If you got 1 is not possible. You can't roll this to get 1. Therefore, let me use 2. Yeah, 2 is fractional. You can see now, you can be able now to vary this until this touches here. If you go to 1.5, you can see 1.5 is okay. You can see what is happening here. You can use 1.5. In case you have a predefined value, maybe I want to have 2. 2 is predefined, and at the same time, I want this edge here, this surface here, to touch this surface. Okay? Therefore, what you do is you select here offset bed line. Why do you say offset? Because you said if I go up, if this edge go up, this distance here, this opening here is increased, because this length is exactly this length. If I go down, this also will go, we start to close. Therefore, if I start to pull this down, just see, let me go to the front view for visibility. If you pull it down, you see, notice this one is bedding more, because we are increasing the top material, hence we have a lot of material to bed. You go more like that till somewhere there. You can see what happens. Therefore, I go back, I go front here. Therefore, maybe if I have 3 like that, I need now to go up. Maybe you want to go up like that, and have, maybe if you have 4 like that. That's how you can play with this offset. This offset here. You can see Therefore, let me go back to 1.5 and this offset here, somewhere there. Same thing as we had discussed here. Also, this apply. Let me see. Yeah, you have to be. You have to ensure that uh, this value is properly defined for you to get a preview. Can go like that. Yeah. Okay. And you can change the fixed side here. If you change the fixed side, it doesn't function because now you're telling this bottom section. Therefore, there's some features that can't work with a roll. You have to bed this top. You can't bed this bottom side. It will be tricky. Reason why once you select that side, it's failing, but this can work. Go this direction, that's fine. This you can go this direction, that's fine. And go like that. And you can say, okay, that's how you can use bed to do algo in a roll. In my next video, I'm going to go deeper on now the transition. Yeah. Thank you and stay tuned for more.